Hello and welcome to this last video on team incentives. We are going to discuss the topic implicit rewards in this video. In the last videos, we saw that stock options, profit sharing, and team bonuses were explicit rewards for team performance. There are also implicit rewards for team performance that may account for a larger proportion of team reward than all forms of explicit rewards combined. When firm profits are high, wages tend to be high. If a firm has a good year, it is likely to give better raises than if it has a bad year. If higher profits bring larger raises, then the workers are implicitly sharing in the profits of the firm. In this case, the profit sharing is implicit. Implicit profit sharing is likely to account for the largest proportion of total profit sharing, because most workers in the firm are involved in implicit profit sharing, whereas a very small fraction of the workforce receive explicit profit sharing, team bonuses, or stock options. In most firms, only top management receives a sizable fraction of compensation in the form of stock options. This is because a stock option is a real incentive only for an employee who can single-handedly affect the profitability of the firm to a significant extent. But for most others, it is the implicit reward, the firm doing well overall, the firm increasing its profitability, and the share reaching everybody in the team. To get a sense of the importance and cost to the firm of an implicit profit sharing plan, consider the following formula. Suppose the firm allows wages to vary with profits according to this implicit formula, where average annual percentage raise is, and this is for the entire firm sharing in the implicit profit, is equal to inflation rate plus 20%, which is 0.2, of the difference between actual profit rate and expected profit rate, which means that only if the actual profit exceeds the expected profit, there is going to be an average annual percentage rise in the wages given. If actual profit equals expected profit, the average raise equals the inflation rate, which means that workers are no better off in real terms. Let's think of this scenario. If the actual profit rate is 20% and the expected profit rate is 15%, then the raise would be inflation rate plus 0.2 into 0.2 minus 0.15, 20% minus 15. And that works out to average annual percentage rise is equal to inflation rate plus 0.01. So the raise is going to be just 1% above the inflation rate. This would raise the wage bill of the firm by just 1%. Let us compare this 1% increase in the wage bill with the cost of an explicit stock option or bonus plan. These plans, as we know, are generally reserved for higher level managers, and which comprise a very small percentage of the workforce. So let us assume that this explicit incentive is for 3% of the firm's workforce, and it comprises 15% of the firm's wage bill. Now let's say that there is a bonus plan that stipulates that the bonus will be calculated as per the following formula. Eligible workers bonus, because not everybody is eligible, is equal to his base salary into the difference of actual profit rate and expected profit rate. Now, as we discussed in the last slide, if let's say the profits are 5% above expected profits, then every eligible employee receives a bonus equal to 5% of base salary. The total cost increase in the firm's wage bill is, so total cost is 5% of uh, the increased profits into 15% of the total wage bill, and therefore 0.75% of the total wage bill is the increase in cost. So the total cost of the firm is of this explicit plan would then be only 0.75% of the total wage bill, which is less than the implicit bonus given to all workers, which we saw in the previous slide was 1%. We understand that these numbers can be adjusted to make explicit bonuses cost more or less than the implicit bonus. However, with reasonable values of the parameters, it is likely that implicit bonuses account for a greater share of a firm's wage bill and therefore cost the firms more than explicit team bonuses. So, from the cost point of view, explicit incentives are less costly to the firm than implicit incentives. Team bonuses, profit sharing, and stock options were direct monetary ways to establish a team atmosphere within a firm. However, there may be other non pecuniary ways as well, and all of them require some investment of time and effort. Norms is one of them. What are norms? Norms are practices a firm engages in or a set of beliefs held by the vast majority of a group, the employees of the organization. Let us take the example of an organization where, as a part of firm's culture, managers voluntarily they work on Sundays. If managers are voluntarily working on Sundays, workers will be sort of reluctant to deviate from this mode of behavior. So they will also start coming on Sundays. This extra Sunday work may provide useful labor and generate additional profits. Of course, it goes without saying that this Sunday work also carries a cost. Employees must be compensated more for taking a job where Sunday work is the norm than for work at a firm where Sunday work is not the norm. What happens if an employee deviates from the norm and fails to come in on a Sunday? If there is no enforcement of the norm nor sanctions imposed for deviating, chances are that the employee will engage in the deviant activity again. Worse, it may then spread to other members of the firm, causing the norm to break down altogether. In order to prevent this from happening, someone must penalize those who deviate from the norm. The penalty can take the form of monetary wage reductions, but then the norm is simply enforced through the compensation scheme, and we need not even bother with the notion of a norm. We already know that it is possible to induce workers to put forth almost any level of effort as long as the firm is willing to pay for it and sets up the appropriate compensation scheme. Norms may also be enforced without direct pecuniary compensation of the individual employee. One way to provide incentives to enforce a norm is by setting group quotas. The firm promises the team a bonus and imposes a penalty for not making the quota. When one person puts forth less than the norm level of effort, it hurts the others in the group. As a result, the deviant feels peer pressure. The norm is enforced by peers who may have some monetary or other stake in the quota being realized. The sanctions placed on the deviant might not be pecuniary. They may take the form of cajoling, criticism, or downright ostracism. So, we understand that even a non pecuniary, non monetary incentive, like establishing a norm in an organization, can help induce better team activity. Thank you. And with this, we come to an end on this on the series of videos on team incentives. Hope you liked it. Thank you.